right now the fate of Ubisoft is in the success of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And the main problem with this is that a lot of people, a lot of gamers are already quite fed up with Ubisoft. And it actually has nothing to do with diversity, inclusion, or whatever, but everything has to do with monetization. In the past couple of years, in their games, Ubisoft had so insanely predatory monetization policies, like, for example, in the previous Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they had paid XP boosts in the game. So just to keep in mind, this is a single player game where you can buy XP boosts for faster level up. I mean, isn't difficulty sliders and other, settings are there for this specific reason? I mean, it's supposed to be, but now for Ubisoft games, it's a paid feature. And, this is just one example of many different things. And you know that when they put this in the game, it will affect the game design. And actually, it shows that the game intentionally created lots of intentionally bad game design choices for then later on sell you for real money the solution. So the game was designed that after a while, when you played, leveling up the character is going to be an extreme chore to do, an extremely long and boring process. For, if you want to see what else in the game, you pretty much have to buy the XP boost. And you know that this is going on. Why else is it in the game? And yeah, we heard the usual, yeah, because some gamers have no time to level up their characters because they have not have too much time to play with the game, and it's this feature is in the game for them. I mean, isn't that supposed to be the fun part of the game? Leveling up your character, making a build. Isn't that supposed to be fun? Why would you want to skip that one? Why would you want to rush that? Oh, because you designed it to be unfun. You intentionally created a system to be a chore. And then, later on, yes, people who have no time and no will to get through this just boring mess, they are just going to buy the skip button to see the end of the game. I mean, at least that's the idea behind it. So, because of these monetization choices, a lot of gamers are really, really fed up with Ubisoft, and they are more than happy that Ubisoft now is struggling to get them back. And on top of this, started this entire, DEI and other controversies, and just generally how Japanese people started to see that their culture is really, really not represented authentically, and just generally a big mess, representation-wise. It's just a perfect storm of everything that can go wrong with this game already did. And it's especially bad since this is the last straw. If this game is not successful, Ubisoft is basically over. So the question is then, is it successful? And already there were a lot of articles on the internet that Assassin's Creed Shadows already surpassed 1 million players or 2 million players, which, again, it is possible, but these are not sales, these are players. Because keep in mind that Assassin's Creed Shadows is on Ubisoft Plus, which is a subscription service where you can just pay $14 a month and access every Ubisoft game, including Assassin's Creed Shadows. Which is a little bit odd if you think about it, because this is the game where your livelihood is depending on, so it has to be successful, otherwise you are bankrupt. Why is it on a subscription service? It's pretty much the same if it was a movie and you would release the movie on theaters and streaming services at the same time. Of course, just the fact that it is on streaming service, it's going to significantly decrease the number of people who are going to go into the cinema. And it's the exact same with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Right now, the choice what an average player has is either I buy the game for $70, I think it's $70, or I pay $14 to play with it for a month. And also if you don't like it, you can just try it out and play with it a couple of hours, and you can still play for another Assassin's Creed title instead of Shadows if you didn't enjoy it. So yeah, that $14 is not wasted even if you don't like the game. So right now, if, I'm actually surprised that anybody bought the game. So of course there are a lot of players, at least a lot of people who would buy this game just for the sake of it, because they are a fan of this series, they owning any single instance, and they just want to own this as well. And just because for the mere fact of that, they are just buying it. Also, lots of parents are buying this as a present for their kids, etc. So of course this is a well-known title, a lot of people going to buy it and not necessarily know that it is on a subscription service. So yeah, the matter of fact is that just because of this model, we we know for 100% certainty that this game is not going to sell too well. Because why would it? I mean, if right now I want to play with this game, I can play with it for an entire month for $14. And if I don't like it, I can play with something else. And my money is not wasted. Why would I pay $70 to play with it or try it out? And you see, this is the strange part in this. So for me, because if Ubisoft's future is dependent on this game's success, why would you screw yourself over, with this streaming platform? Why wouldn't you delay the streaming platform to force people to buy the game if they're interested? Because that's going to increase your revenue. And I do believe that this is kind of a self-report. This is kind of a self-report from the part of Ubisoft that they themselves didn't believe that Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to sell well enough that it's going to save the company. So what they did is actually the safe route, because a lot of people are interested and a lot of people are going to try it out on the subscription service. Because if you already have the subscription service, it's essentially free for you because you are already paying for it. You got this game for completely free. And if you did not have this subscription service and just want to try out the game, you are going to buy the subscription service and try it out. And you just pay 1 month free and then leave. However, then investor reports are going to be generated. So when they are going to show for the investors how the company is doing, they now going to show that, for example, they had 2 or 3 million new subscribers on Ubisoft Plus subscription service. And these people came in for the sole purpose of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And they can present these numbers as Assassin's Creed Shadows is actually a quite big success because millions of players were tuning in for our subscription service, and they registered to our subscription service for the sole reason to play with this game, and lots of them remaining on the subscription service. Some of them might be because they just forget to unsubscribe. Some of them realize that there are the classic Assassin's Creed games and many other games on this subscription service which are really, really good. So therefore they're just remaining subscribed and going to play with the game. And that's going to show in the investor reports as, a great success because, that's the idea. They want to have games on the platform which is driving people to subscribe to the platform. And right now, Assassin's Creed Shadows might be one of them. So if they can show in the investor reports that a lot of new subscribers went into the subscription system just because of Assassin's Creed Shadows, that can be a win. So if right now you think about it, these were the 2 pathways for Ubisoft. Either they release the game and hope that in pure sell numbers it's going to be high enough to save the company, or they release it on the subscription service at the same time, and most likely just, if nothing else, just because of the rage bait, a lot of people are going to tune into the subscription service to pay the least amount of possible for the game, and then you are going to show in the investor reports this as a really good number. Player numbers are rising up. And as far as we can see on the articles, this is exactly what's happening. That is why the article says it reached 2 million players. Because most likely, lots of them were on Ubisoft Plus already. And so, I don't know how many subscribers this system had. So if, for example, there were 10 million Ubisoft Plus players, right now they literally got Assassin's Creed Shadows for free. So, for them to just start the game and try it out, it literally cost nothing. So if these, for example, 10 million players all start to play with that game just to try it out and instantaneously deleting it, that still shows in the investor reports that 10 million players did try out the game. And the real number, what is going to really interest the investors, is that how many people did buy the subscription system for the sole reason to play with this game. And, well, who knows? We are going to find it out later. Right now, when this article is saying that Assassin's Creed Shadows reached 2 million players. Right now, the majority of them are subscription-based, from the subscription-based model, and we do not know that how many of them are already paying for this service, and therefore it's basically meaningless. It's not a win for the company. It doesn't do anything with them. So as I said in the beginning, we have to wait. I've been at least a month, but most likely even more time. To find out whether or not this game is successful. So, and even though this is the case, a lot of people are already extremely emotional over the success of this game, and especially because it get into this woke anti-woke crowd of discussion, and yeah, it's just became extremely unreasonable. A lot of people just cheering on any crumbs of information which might imply that this is a failure, and other side is extremely clinging on every single article or anything which is just implies that it might be a success, even though right now every data what we know about this game is completely meaningless because of the nature of the streaming service, and the main reason that we do not know the numbers of this streaming service is not public. It's only public for the investors. So I would say that the quarterly investor reports are going to show us the real numbers, and since we don't see those reports, what we can take a look at is the Ubisoft stock prices. So if the investors are leaving en masse, that means it's a failure. If the investors are jumping in, that means it's a success. And so far, the stock is not really a good place. And this is the main reason, and this is what's going to save or break the company. That the investors are going to invest more money, or at least not taking their money out, or they're just going to leave. Because in the past year or so, they did leave.